Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news for the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now some interesting news from living legend, lightweight, undisputed champion, only 24 years old with Devin Haney. Living legend. You know, Devin Haney been through a lot, right? Straight up. So let me just explain, before we even get into it. Devin Haney would have been through a lot, going to the lightweight division after beating Abdulaev, I think it was becoming a mandatory for Lomachenko, and then, have to fight after fight after fight. Lomachenko gets this franchise title instead of fighting Devin Haney as mandatory. Then you got Teofimo Lopez over there who beats Lomachenko, and then he, would rather embrace the franchise title instead of fighting Devin Haney for the real undisputed. That would happen. Devin Haney's mandatory, and Ryan Garcia refused to fight him. And we just let in daylight. This is broad daylight. I'm your mandatory, but I'm not talking about Gervonta Davis or anybody else. You have to go through that. Then Teofimo Lopez lose to Kambosos. Then Kambosos, wants to fight Lomachenko instead of Devin Haney for undisputed, but Lomachenko had to go to the war. So then everybody, top ranking, everybody lets Kambosos make Devin Haney go have a ridiculous contract with about 20% of the purse, and letting Kambosos have to fight twice. Right? That means Kambosos is going to be the A side in both fights and get way more money. All kind of just ridiculousness. Matter of fact, Devin Haney had to leave Matchroom and Eddie Hearn to sign with Top Rank to even make that, to facilitate that fight. And just ridiculousness. So him being undisputed right now means he's been through adversity. He's went through a lot. A lot of fights didn't happen. Look, let me make sure this is clear. Devin Haney is undisputed in the lightweight division. Okay? And that everybody there, we're going to take Shakur Stevenson out because he wasn't there when all this was going down. Teofimo Lopez was there. Had the belt, could have fought Devin Haney at the 135 pounds for undisputed. Refused to. Ryan Garcia's there, right? He was there the whole time. Was the mandatory for Devin Haney. Refused to fight him. Gervonta Davis is right there. That's the face of boxing in that division. Ain't really calling Devin Haney. Recently, maybe a time or two. All that time, no. Right? Kambosos, they're up in the house. And I'm forgetting some people. Lomachenko just finally fought him. Right? Had a good fight against him. Finally fought him. Right? So, so I'm lightweight in that division where all that was going down. Undisputed. Right? So that's who Devin Haney is. So Devin Haney speaks for itself. But through all that adversity, Devin Haney said something recently where it was disturbing to me, and I think it's the problem with boxing. I don't think people should say these type of things anymore to make people aware. That's why I'm really happy that Demetrius Andrade is fighting Dave Benavidez in a high-profile fight, because some truths are coming out. But Devin Haney says that Canelo Alvarez is #1 pound for pound, #1 fighter, right? And normally you just, okay, well, it's opinionated, what do we say? It's subjective, and all of that. No, it's not, right, at this point. Canelo can't be #1 if you're just paying attention a little bit. And it's not a good thing to say anymore, right? Canelo got to prove like anybody else. First of all, to just say this one thing right now, to say Canelo is above Dimitri Bivol, to make sure y'all kind of fathom and understand, right? To say that Canelo is in front of Dimitri Bivol is blasphemous right now. Blasphemous. Just totally blasphemous, right? Remind me if somebody say Manny Pacquiao better than Floyd Mayweather. Just blasphemous. Floyd Mayweather, I beat you when we met. I was the one who wanted to fight 5 years ago, and you didn't want to take a dope test. A common opponent in Marquez, you go tooth and nail 4 fights with, and I just come off a 2-year layoff and dominate him, right? And anything else, right? Well, Ricky Hatton come out talking about Pacquiao better, but Ricky Hatton was undefeated when I beat the hell out of him. Then you came and knocked him out. There's no reason to say Pacquiao's better than Floyd Mayweather. You got 7, 8, and 9 losses. I got 0. Blasphemous. Dimitri Bivol and Canelo met, and I beat you by a landslide. I wanted to fight you at 168. You didn't attend. The best thing that Dimitri Bivol did about beating Canelo didn't even happen on that night. It didn't even happen on that night. It happened after Canelo. Remind me of Kobe Bryant's 81 points. When Kobe Bryant hit 81 points against Toronto way back in the day, I was like, you know something? Best thing about them 81 points happened 3 weeks ago when Kobe Bryant had 62 against the Dallas Mavericks when they was winning by 19 points in the fourth quarter. Didn't even play the whole fourth quarter. Outscored the Mavericks 62 points to 61 himself. He would have played that fourth quarter. That was his 80 that night. So to come back 3 weeks later and get 80 again, that's how I look at it. Same thing with Dimitri Bivol. I beat the hell out of Canelo. Wasn't even close. And then I got the nerve 3 or 4 months later to beat a tall, southpaw, throw punching in bunches, and was totally confident, was 40-something and 0. They thought he was going to get Floyd Mayweather's record. Gilberto Ramirez. To go and shut Gilberto Ramirez down like that, totally different fighter than Canelo just months later, that is ridiculously awesome. Canelo ain't in front of him. Not even, no. And they could prove it by meeting each other, but we just put him in front of him. Like, you know, like Canelo has distanced himself in fights. So for me, for Devin Haney to say that is what's wrong with boxing, right? Because he's like, he was kind of on Canelo's, the fact that Canelo has been up 4 divisions, right? And stuff like that. And that's pretty cool, but then that's a slight to put Canelo in front of Terrence Crawford, who was in also like 3 divisions, but in every one of them, I'm the very best, and there's no question. You know what I mean? When Terrence Crawford left lightweight, it was no question. When he left junior welterweight, there's no question. You don't question undisputed, right? Now at 147, I went up and beat everybody up when they had questions, and I was knocking everybody out who was bigger than me. Everybody, right? And they come up with the side of the street stuff. But I'm knocking everybody out. And then when I finally beat the dude, there's distance there. There's no questions, right? In his division. Canelo, at 154, there's questions all over the place. Both Charlo brothers there with titles, wanting to fight him. And he wasn't even the champion. Demetrius Andrade was the champion. So he didn't fight either one of those 3 champions. He fights Liam Smith and leaves. And we say he's the best at 154? No. Go to 160. Only one he fight is Gennady Golovkin in close fights, right? Close fights. He gets a draw in that first fight against Gennady Golovkin. He didn't win that. He didn't have no draw. Gennady Golovkin won that fight. And the second fight was a draw, right? But Canelo gets a win. But then he doesn't fight Demetrius Andrade for undisputed, nor does he fight his mandatory in Charlo. So they're there. So is he categorically the best at 154 or 160? 168, after Benavidez gets stripped, then he fights Benavidez. I repeat, after Demetrius Andrade gets stripped at 154 and they replace him with Leon Smith, Canelo fights Leon Smith instead of Demetrius Andrade. Fast forward, 168, Demetrius, your boy David Benavidez is the champion. He gets stripped. Then Canelo goes up and fight Callum Smith for the WBA, and the WBC just gives him the title, right? So he's not categorically the best at 160 because that's Demetrius Andrade's territory and Jamal Charlo. 168, David Benavidez and David Morrell is there, and he won't fight them, right? In light heavyweight, you beat Sergey Kovalev and got whitewashed by Dimitri Bivol. So where was he categorically the best at? Where was he categorically the top 2 at? Categorically. You know what I mean? So therefore, there's way too many questions when it comes to Canelo. So now the boxers should know this by now, right? And some of them, when it comes to Devin Haney, you had to go through the franchise shenanigans, right? Okay, it started with Charlo. That's why it's the Charlo belt, a.k.a. the Charlo belt, because I'll say it again, if Charlo wasn't dangerous, if Charlo's name was Yildirim or something like that, or Josesipo Lopez or something like that, then we wouldn't have had no franchise title. But it happened to be Jamal Charlo when Jamal Charlo was Jamal Charlo, right? And we ain't fighting him. We gave him 3 interim fights and he won them, damn it. And now we got to figure something out. And we figured out the franchise title. But what we didn't figure out is how we going to define it. We're just going to put it out there. And, hey, most people going to want it to be out there, so they're not going to ask questions. There's going to be a few people that's going to ask questions, and then we'll just figure out, we'll stumble through the answer, just like Mauricio Sullivan did. Have you seen him try to explain what the hell it is? He'll just be stumbling. I'm talking about stumbling. He's just so stumbling like, damn, you drunk? Right? It's ridiculous. So we made that up because Charlo was dangerous, right? So all that. So Devin Haney went through that because Lomachenko was able to get it instead of fighting him. You know what I'm saying? So what's the common denominator with Devin Haney and Jamal Charlo? Some bad, undefeated brothers. That's what that is. So we figuring something out. So when you're talking about saying who the best fighter is, it's blasphemous to put Canelo over Terrence Crawford right now because there's no distance in his fights, right? You know, you could have been undisputed at 100 at a middleweight division by fighting Demetrius Andrade, but you won't. So you go up to 168, don't have to fight David Benavidez, or the WBA who keeps telling you that they're trying to consolidate their belts, right? But you know, David Morrell is the regular champion for 2 years. That means he's supposed to have been mandated to fight Canelo. But because it's Canelo, no one says anything. David Morrell, and what is he just ridiculously awesome? Yes. So WBA ain't forcing Canelo to do that. People that are boxing every day knows some of this stuff because I've seen Devin Haney, you know, say some things. And so that's why it's alarming and it's not good for fighting, for boxing. No one's trying to tear Canelo down, actually. It's just we shouldn't have lifted him up so damn high. Why? Everybody else has to prove things, right? You know, so you're not exempt from proving things. If we're, you know, we're the consumer for boxing, you know, it's just egregious and damn patronizing for them to keep saying that this guy's number one. And it's just all these questions. Every time somebody's good, we question what their resume is and stuff. And then he'll fight somebody calling me up and stuff to fight just anybody. Right? Why John Ryder's mandatory had to be enforced real quick? He just beat Zach Parker, and Zach Parker's hand got broke real quick. Right? So, boom. As soon as John Ryder wins, then all of a sudden, I got to fight that mandatory. Well, no. You had a mandatory in David Morrell. You kind of want to prove that you're the WBC champion by beating the real WBC lineal champ in David Benavidez. No, we don't want none of that. No, undisputed in the middleweight division because I got one fight against Demetrius Andrade, the most lucrative fight I would have ever fought. No, I don't want to do that either. And it's not just that he won't do it, it's the media that's helping him. So that's why when Devin Haney says he's number one, the media's, oh, thank God, that's easy. Well, let's magnify that a little bit. No. Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter, but he is damn sure not the best one out there. And your eyes and my eyes tell us that. We know that he's not the best fighter out there. If he was, and even if he was trying to be, he would have tried to prove it by now. You know, he's a very good one, but for him and Terrence Crawford, to me, ain't even one sentence. And like I said at the beginning, he ain't above no damn Dimitri Bivol. On no planet is he above Dimitri Bivol. Like, really? Are you guys watching Dimitri Bivol? Well, you think this stuff is just happening? No, he ain't in front of him neither. He ain't in front of no Alexander Usyk neither. He ain't in front of no damn Deontay Wilder, quiet as kept. We talking about pound for pound, right? Shoot, it's just way too many to do. And he ain't in front of Demetrius Andrade, right? Because just like Devin Haney, I told you, all those people in that division, that lightweight division that didn't want to fight him, aren't those good fighters? Isn't Ryan Garcia a pretty good fighter? Isn't Teofimo Lopez a pretty good damn fighter? Isn't Gervonta Davis, a pretty damn good fighter, right? Kambosos not a bad fighter, right? All them fighters, they had a problem. Just Lomachenko and them, that's all there. Had a problem getting with Devin Haney. Now, Demetrius Andrade is similar. Now, Gennady Golovkin, bad dude, ain't he? Ain't he supposed to be the hardest puncher in the last 25 years, best middleweight? Jaime Munguia, right now, 37-0. Mandatory for this guy. Well, ain't gonna even get close to him. No, I ain't doing it. Canelo Alvarez, the one that we're doing a video as we speak about somebody saying he's the best fighter in the world, and he would refuse to fight a fighter for all of his career. When he's the mandatory to fight that fighter and the other fighter's a champion, no. For undisputed, no. For anything at 168, no. Get out my press conferences, you're a horrible fighter. Right? That's what's going on. So Demetrius Andrade is going through something very similar. And Demetrius, let me just make this clear. Demetrius Andrade just moved up to 168 and fighting the guy that some people are saying for Canelo Alvarez is too big. Canelo didn't, he went to 175 already. Canelo has. Demetrius, David Benavidez hasn't been up to 175 yet. So how is he bigger for Canelo? right? But they saying he's too big for Canelo because he's a big super middleweight, right? At 168 pounds. So David Benavidez is kind of big, but Canelo has been up to 175, right? Twice. So he's too big for him. But Demetrius Andrade just moved from 168, had one fight in 168, and is fighting the baddest one at 168 and a big 168 pounder. And he's supposed to come up there, and he ain't got that much puncher power to keep this dude off of him, but he's going to take the risk. So, but we got Canelo in front of these guys. Yeah, guys. Boom. BTBG. Right? Y'all know what that means. And Devin Haney knows what that means, too. So be careful what you say. When you're saying Canelo's the #1 fighter, just not good for boxing, bro, because it's just not the truth. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.